Lewis Hamilton and Charles Leclerc caused a stir in the paddock during the Japanese Grand Prix weekend, not with a spectacular overtake or a podium decided by a photo finish. This time it was the drivers' statements, not their lap times, that resonated throughout the Formula One world. In the heat of the battle, with the strategy unraveling and the SF25 failing to meet expected performance standards, both Ferrari drivers took to the team radio with unusual candor, conveying a genuine frustration that only emerges when expectations and reality diverge. This was not merely an outburst of irritation, but a reflection of a deeper issue within Ferrari, a growing disconnect between drivers and engineers, between ambition and execution, between potential and results. In only 3 races of the season of 2025, the team, which should be on the rise, already finds itself immersed in an intense crisis while the pressure reaches elevated level. The leaked radio recordings from Suzuka reveal a story more impactful than any official statement could convey. In today's video, we will delve into the details of the setbacks Ferrari faced in Japan. From Hamilton's request for clarification to Charles Leclerc's forceful reply to the engineer's guidance, we will analyze every word of the now infamous exchanges, the performance deficit that triggered them, and how these episodes have reinforced the narrative that Ferrari is once again off course. Before we proceed, remember to leave your like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and activate notifications so you do not miss any twists in this unfolding drama, as what we are about to reveal may foreshadow a very serious situation at Maranello. Let us then turn to the dialogue exchanged during the Suzuka race. Hamilton, struggling to keep up with the pace and seemingly lacking the necessary information, asked his race engineer for a critical feedback, stating that he really needed details on where he was losing time. The response came evasively, mentioning laps 8, 9, 13, and 14. However, Hamilton was not satisfied and pressed further, asking exactly how much was lacking. His tone, although measured, clearly betrayed his frustration, as it was not about blaming the team, but about not having the proper tools to compete on equal terms. Meanwhile, Charles Leclerc was engaged in his own battle, not against an external rival, but internally with his team. When instructed to adjust the engine braking, he stated that he had already been informed that such a change would not be implemented for a specific reason. This episode marked a rare act of defiance from a driver known for his patience, clearly demonstrating that he believed the instructions did not correspond to what was actually happening on track. These radio exchanges are not isolated complaints, but the culmination of a series of issues that have been plaguing Ferrari since the beginning of the season. After being disqualified in China due to excessive floor wear and experiencing a disastrous performance in Australia, the team had hoped to recover in Japan. However, Suzuka only exposed the limitations of the SF25. The SF25 continues to struggle with a narrow setup window, sensitivity to ride height, and a lack of downforce compared to Red Bull and McLaren, which qualified in 4th place. The latter teams described the race as frustrating and lamented feeling completely alone, unable to challenge for the podium even though they delivered a clean race with no serious errors, finishing the Grand Prix 16 seconds behind the leader. Such a performance gap on a circuit where Ferrari has previously shown excellence is quite revealing. Leclerc stated that the team had found a balance, yet the SF25's performance simply did not meet expectations, while Hamilton fought to reach the top 6 and eventually settled for 7th place. At the race's end, Hamilton confirmed something that had been whispered around the paddock for weeks. One of the components on the SF25 had been underperforming since the beginning of the season, and the issue was only recently identified by Ferrari. According to him, he expected that once the problem was resolved, the results would gradually improve. This revelation raises serious doubts, as how can a team of Ferrari's caliber allow a performance deficiency to persist for 3 consecutive race weekends before being fixed? The depth of Ferrari's crisis goes far beyond a single disappointing result. It is a systemic issue that becomes increasingly apparent with each Grand Prix. While headlines may focus on Hamilton's frustration or Leclerc's disappointment, behind the scenes there is a blend of technical fragility, a flawed development philosophy, and a disturbing breakdown in operational trust. Let us start with the SF25. which was meant to symbolize Ferrari's return to high-level performance, featuring an innovative design that promised better balance, increased downforce, and a stable aerodynamic platform. However, in only 3 races this season, serious doubts have already emerged regarding its sensitivity to ride height, excessive floor wear, and the poor performance of a component in Hamilton's SF25 that apparently went undetected during early tests. This situation is not merely a configuration issue, but it highlights shortcomings in quality control and internal communication. If a part was consistently underperforming for 3 race weekends, one must question how rigorous Ferrari's internal verification procedures are and how thoroughly the driver's data is analyzed. Furthermore, the issue of rear stability was also raised, as both drivers, at different moments, mentioned an unexpected traction during acceleration, stemming from a misalignment between mechanical grip and aerodynamic load. This instability not only makes the SF25 more difficult to drive, but also undermines the driver's confidence, as without full trust in the rear of the car, they struggle to extract maximum performance in qualifying or manage the tires effectively during the race. Next, the strategic aspect must be addressed. At Suzuka, Ferrari once again displayed indecision and a reactive approach. Although the tire choice for Leclerc followed a logical pattern, starting with medium tires and then switching to hard tires, there was a lack of tactical aggressiveness. There was neither a bold maneuver nor a coordinated strategy to pressure McLaren or Red Bull. Consequently, the drivers ended up opting for a conservative race, finishing in distant positions, with one ending in 4th place and the other in 7th, for a team that aspires to podiums and wins. In this case, maximizing points came off more as a damage control measure than as a true display of ambition. Perhaps the most alarming aspect was the failure in communication between the pit wall and the drivers. The leaked radio messages between Hamilton, Leclerc, and their engineers were not only embarrassing but also revealing. Hamilton asked where he was losing time, followed by vague responses about different sectors, forcing him to insist on obtaining precise information. This lack of clarity is critical, as drivers need actionable feedback in real time. Leclerc's remark stood out when he challenged an instruction to adjust engine braking, stating that he had already been told that such an adjustment should not be made for a specific reason. This reaction was not merely a momentary irritation, but the sentiment of a driver who feels disregarded and misunderstood. When 2 renowned drivers, one with 7 titles and the other considered Ferrari's longtime prodigy, display a disconnect with their engineers in the same weekend, it is inevitable to question the role of leadership. Jacques Villeneuve's observation cuts to the core of the problem. Hamilton not only joined Ferrari but also altered the team's dynamics. This assertion, though forceful, reflects a significant shift in the internal energy. Hamilton commands attention, brings decades of experience, adopts a distinct work method, and his presence inevitably reshapes the internal hierarchy. If, as Naomi Schiff points out, this climate of change is palpable, then we are not facing merely technical or tactical issues, but a potential crisis of identity at Ferrari. This is a team at a crossroads, as the SF25 does not deliver the performance necessary to compete with Red Bull or McLaren. Its race operations remain overly reactive, communication fails at critical moments, and the 2 top drivers show clear signs of dissatisfaction, not with each other, but with the tools they receive. If Ferrari does not act quickly with precise updates, more integrated coordination, and a restoration of internal trust, the campaign for the title may turn out to be yet another season below its full potential. Share your thoughts in the comments on what Ferrari should fix first, whether it is the SF25's performance, the team's strategic approach, internal communication, or all of these aspects together. And if you have been enjoying this detailed analysis, do not forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and activate notifications so you do not miss any twist. As if this internal tension continues to escalate, the consequences could be much more serious than a few outbursts on the radio, potentially shaping the future of Ferrari.